looping sometimes is not looping. It's just staying in the zone a little longer.
Major League Baseball Productions presents This Week in Baseball, the show that goes beyond the game.
Let's go to work. Come on. Swung out and belted. Oh, my God. This one is over.
We're off to Wisconsin this week, where in a bit, we'll take an up-close look at the career of legendary broadcaster Bob Uecker.
Way back! Get up! Get out of here! Gone for Fielder!
But first, let's see what's brewing with the team that calls Milwaukee home. And the homegrown talent that continues to blossom under manager Ken Maka.
Those guys all came up through the minor leagues together. So we have a group of players, Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart, J.J. Hardy, and Ryan Braun.
Transitioning from the minor leagues to the big leagues, being able to rely on those guys to ask questions, to see how they handle a certain situation.
It just makes it that much easier to, feel comfortable and, it makes it even that much more fun just because those guys you grew up with.
Oh, you have a mic on? You didn't tell me you had a mic on? That's why you're supposed to tell people you got a mic.
In fact, 9 players on the current roster were raised on the Brewers farm.
To have this many guys in your starting lineup, drafted, developed, and ultimately sent to the big leagues, it's something that Milwaukee should be very proud of.
Well, there must be something to this home cooking, for the Brewers are one of the top-scoring teams in the National League.
Braun strikes again!
Braun is the thinking man slugger. Prince Fielder is the masher.
It's just a different, he's much more athletic than me. I just try to hit the ball hard, but he looks like he has a real thought process when he's hitting.
Either way, they're a terrific tandem, with Fielder well on his way to another 30 home run season.
When he centers a ball up, I don't know if there's anybody in baseball that hits the ball further.
Fielder knocks it to right center and deep. Get up! Get out of here! Go!
Yeah, I just try to see the ball and just put the barrel on it. That's usually what I just try to do.
That one's well hit, and she's gone!
The Milwaukee attack is pretty much the same as the one that took them to the playoffs last year.
Success!
But they lost pitchers CC Sabathia and Ben Sheets over the winter.
Attaboy, right at him. Let's go.
No problem, as their current staff is holding its own against National League bats. And it's anchored by another homegrown player, Yovani Gallardo.
He's got great stuff, there's no question. His fastball, he throws it on a downhill plane. When he's getting that low strike call, he's really tough.
Swing and a miss, and Gallardo strikes out his 8th Pirate today.
He has a lot of poise out there. The more comfortable he gets with his ability to command the strike zone, I think the sky's the limit.
And at the end of the day, these guys know they can hand their lead over to the calming influence of all-time saves leader, Trevor Hoffman.
I don't know if any manager really has calmness in the 9th inning when you have a 1-run lead. But you bring in Trevor, you can see his intensity level rise to such a height.
And this one is over, and Trevor Hoffman does it again. Well, that's what he came here to do.
To be in a new environment, new group of fans, to be excited about the 9th inning, I think you can't ask for more. So really the bottom line is you go out and do your job.
Hey, struck him out, and this one is over. Trevor Hoffman does it again.
Trevor's been close to perfect for the Brewers this year, and his veteran presence, among others, is keeping the team loose.
Wild Bill.
A lot of that looseness comes from the senior leadership on the team. Trevor Hoffman, Jason Kendall, Mike Cameron.
Cam is without a doubt the coolest guy in baseball. Just an unbelievable teammate. So much fun to have around every day. And they're there for us whenever we have questions, whenever we need anything.
I don't think you want to mistake kindness for weakness. There's times to be loose and to have a good time. But when it's time to play ball, these guys get after it as hard as anybody.
That ball is hit well, deep into right center field, and gone. An opposite field home run for Corey Hart.
I think the atmosphere in the clubhouse really is a direct result of the success and the amount of influence these senior leaders on the team have with the rest of the players.
It's fun to get to watch players that are so talented on a daily basis and be a part of something that I really feel special.
Last season, Milwaukee fans heard the words that were music to their ears.
Sabathia sets. Here it is. Swing and a bouncer. Double play ball. JJ second. Relay. And the Brewers have won. They are going to the playoffs.
And the man who delivered those words has been there for many a Milwaukee moment.
Thank you very much. And this broadcast once again is authorized by the Milwaukee Brewers.
First thing you think of when you think of Brewers is Uecker.
The Brewers have won the American League pennant. Milwaukee, you have a World Series.
Growing up as a kid, you know, being in the backyard with my dad playing catch or washing the car or something, he'd always have the Brewers game on. I always have Uecker on. So every time I hear Uecker on the radio, it's just it's nothing but good memories for me. And
Throw hits to deep left. It's going to go. Yes, it's gone. A home run for Braun.
I enjoyed listening to him. You know, we'd have a radio down in the bullpen. The guy I'd want to listen to is Bob Uecker.
We'll have that and more right after this on the Brewers Radio Network.
Uecker's road to the booth goes back to his days as a Milwaukee Brave. He retired after just 6 years in the majors and often likes to poke fun at his playing career.
Then if you talk to guys that play with him, I mean, I know it's a big part of his act that he was a bad catcher. He wasn't a bad catcher. He was a very good defensive catcher. He didn't hit much.
He'd have been a 300 hitter the way he talks and acts and the way he broadcasts. Uecker was a funny guy.
Uecker returned to Milwaukee in 1971 to do play-by-play on the radio. 39 years later, he's still one of the funniest broadcasters in the game.
24 hours of laughter. He makes me laugh every time he comes in with something. He has something new for me every day. And we have our little special handshake that gives me good luck every day. Right in there.
Real nice.
got some blood flow.
I know that.
And like many broadcasters, Uecker has a signature call.
Sends it to center and deep. Way back. Get up. Get out of here. Gone.
Get up. Get out of here. Gone for the Brewers. Phil Hall.
A three-run shot. And the Brewers have the lead.
When Bob was inducted into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, he left him laughing.
The Hall of Fame induction, I mean, that's the highlight of anybody's career.
I got a lot of my ability from my father, as a lot of these other guys did. My father actually came to this country as a soccer player. He didn't play. He blew up the balls is what he did.
And now, even as a Hall of Famer, Uecker keeps looking ahead.
I don't have any thoughts about retiring, though. I mean, I feel good. 52 now, 52 years, and that's a long time, to be around baseball. When we had the 50th celebration here, I told our owner and the fans over here that day, I said, for my next 50th, dig me up, take me around the warning track a couple times, and then make sure you put me back in the same hole, because it's going to mess my family up. If they put me someplace else, they go to the old hole and I ain't in there.
My association with the Brewers and you fans has been nothing short of marvelous. I've appreciated everything that you've ever done for me, and I thank you for this night. Thank you very much. Let's play ball. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Gatorade now presents Twibia. Bob Uecker was a fine defensive catcher, but he never hit a triple. Not once in 843 plate appearances. So we asked Nomar Garcia-Parra if he knew who holds the career mark for the most plate appearances without a triple. Was it Sal Fasano, Johnny Estrada, Jason Phillips, or Ramon Castro?
It's funny, because I'd say maybe Jason Phillips.
Nope, it's Johnny Estrada, with not one triple in more than 2,200 plate appearances.
Oh, Johnny Estrada, all right. There you go.
And now we salute the teams and players that know how to win on the road, as Holiday Inn presents Winning Road Trips. How good has Johnny Cueto been on the road this year? How about a 6-2 record and a 2.14 ERA?
A swing and a miss. He struck him out.
8 shutout innings for Johnny Cueto this afternoon.
He has thrown the ball well. Good fastball at 95 miles an hour. Boy, Cueto has got it working.
Certainly doesn't pitch like he's 23 years old, does he?
No, he does not. Every once in a while, there's one of those guys that comes along. Hit. I don't care who's pitching.
I don't care what the situation is. Ryan Braun is a hitter.
If you're not familiar with this week's fresh face, Ryan Braun, well, just ask big league pitchers.
That kid is unbelievable.
For they have borne the brunt of Ryan's powerful bat. In less than 3 years, he has become one of the league's most feared hitters.
He has a tremendous amount of a swagger, as we call it. When he's hot, he can pretty much carry us for a long period of time.
Ryan Braun with a grand slam walk-off home run.
His approach is basically the same all the time. He tries to stay inside the ball. If it's a fastball, he'll hit that ball to right center.
That's what makes him the hitter he is. He goes to right with power.
You leave that breaking ball out over the plate, he's going to pull it and hit it for a home run.
He got a breaking ball up in the zone and having it on out of here.
And best of all, he's one of those special players who often shines when the game is on the line.
He's delivered in the clutch all season.
They're loaded for Braun. The winning run 90 feet away.
You know, when I'm in a position to dictate the outcome of the game, I just try to stay relaxed. Try to simplify everything, try to slow the game down.
The moment of truth. The point of decision right here with Ryan Braun.
I enjoy being in that position. I'm really comfortable being in that position.
Braun with a flare.
When you do hit a ball squarely and you know it's gone, there's no better feeling in the world.
And it's gone!
Ryan Braun has delivered again.
Ryan's bat speaks for itself. And now that he's made the move to the outfield, Ryan has become a complete ball player.
Transitioning to the outfield has been something that I've really enjoyed. I feel like I'm able to use my speed and athleticism out there.
Lays out and makes the grab. And you could see very early on that it was going to be a largely seamless transition for Ryan Braun to the outfield.
With each passing year, Ryan has taken a step forward. He's more than a fresh face. He's one of the game's rising stars.
You know, we've never seen him do bad. That's just a credit to him, you know, being able to be that consistent at a superstar level.
I really enjoy watching him. I mean, he does things, in particular plate appearances, that really make you appreciate how good he is.
For me, I just continue to get better, continue to work hard. I realize that I can become a much better baseball player. That's what motivates me every day.
Next up, Gillette presents the Rookie of the Month, honoring the top rookies in both the American and National Leagues each month of the season.
Welcome to the big leagues, big guy.
This might be the first time you've heard the name Luis Valbuena, but it won't be the last.
Swinging a long drive to left center. On the run, Fukudome going back on the track. This ball, gone! Luis Valbuena with a pump fist going around second. His second homer today. His first multi-home run game in the big leagues. And the Indians have the lead 5-4 here in the 13th.
Listen up. It's time for the XM Call of the Week. It happened in Detroit, and like most great calls, it ended the game.
The 1-0 pitch, fly ball to the gap in deep left center field. It's way back in left center, and the ball is gone! Ryan Rayburn with a pinch hit, 2-run, walk-off home run! Around third and into the mound scene at home. Tigers win it 5-4.
This Week in Baseball, presented by Pepsi, will be right back. Taco Bell now presents How About That? With the plays of the week set to the music of Linkin Park from the new Transformers soundtrack.
Let's go.
Ascending. Here comes the throw to the plate. He is out.
Shock? Yeah.
Tough play. Blake bare hands it and throws him out. Great play. And then they get a double play.
And he makes an absolutely incredible catch. How about that?
I remember black skies, lightning all around me.
A bouncer off the glove of Saunders gets to Ibar.
The amazing thing about Major League shortstops is that you know they don't practice these plays.
Like a startling sign, the fairy had finally found me.
Deep in the air to left field. Boom! Holy smokes!
I get what I deserve. So get
everybody in this house on their feet.
Deep right field.
Game over! Marlins win! Red Sox win!
Yeah, gotcha. We got action.
Harris stalking it. There he goes again. Wanted a mile and a half to get there. Beltran showing off the goal.
Hey, he's pretty money. I got it.
Far to his right, Kinsler has it on the back end from a knee. He throws to first and gets King.
Roller up the middle. Oh, what a play.
Awesome.
He's in time.
Doing a nice Russian ballet.
Sada gets a chuckle. Albert swings and hits a drive. Deep left field. This is a grand slam.
Give me reason.
Oh, boy.
And he makes an unbelievable play.
Slowly hit. Zito spears it. Throws it. Got him.
I don't know. Easy. You're out of rhythm.
1-1 pitch. Gets past. Cubs win.
This one is over. Unbelievable.
Y'all have a good one. See ya.
There's an awful lot of happiness in Milwaukee these days. Kind of reminds you of a blast from the past. The much-beloved 1982 Brewers.
To this day, I've never seen a team that had that many characters.
There were about 6 or 7 guys looked like they had just escaped from Attica State Prison. But a collection of guys that once that first pitch was thrown, knew how to play the game better than any other group of people around.
Taco Bell now presents How About That? With the plays of the week set to the music of Linkin Park from the new Transformers soundtrack.
Let's go.
Here comes the throw to the plate. He is out.
Shock? Yeah.
Tough play. Blake bare hands it and throws him out. Great play. And then they get a double play.
And he makes an absolutely incredible catch. How about that?
I remember black skies, the lightning all around me.
A bouncer off the glove of Saunders gets to Ibar. The amazing thing about Major League shortstops is that you know they don't practice these plays.
Like a startling sign, the fairy had finally found me.
Deep in the air to left field. Boom! Holy smokes!
I get what I deserve. So get
Everybody in this house on their feet.
Deep right field.
Game over! Marlins win! Red Sox win!
Yeah, gotcha. We got action.
Harris stalking it. There he goes again. Wanted a mile and a half to get there. Beltran showing off the goal.
Hey, he's pretty money. I got it.
Far to his right, Kinsler has it on the back end from a knee. He throws to first and gets King.
Roller up the middle. Oh, what a play.
Awesome.
He's in time.
Doing a nice Russian ballet.
Sada gets a chuckle. Albert swings and hits a drive. Deep left field. This is a grand slam.
Give me reason.
Oh, boy.
And he makes an unbelievable play.
Slowly hit. Zito spears it. Throws it. Got him.
I don't know. Easy. You're out of rhythm.
1-1 pitch. Gets past. Cubs win.
This one is over. Unbelievable.
Y'all have a good one. See ya.
There's an awful lot of happiness in Milwaukee these days. Kind of reminds you of a blast from the past. The much-beloved 1982 Brewers.
To this day, I've never seen a team that had that many characters.
There were about 6 or 7 guys looked like they had just escaped from Attica State Prison. But a collection of guys that once that first pitch was thrown, knew how to play the game better than any other group of people around.
They had Hall of Fame talent like Sutton, Paul Molitor, Raleigh Fingers, and Robin Yount, and the right manager to lead them in Harvey Keene.
Harvey was a perfect manager for that club. He let them play. They were experienced, they were good, and the club took off.
And when they did, Harvey's Wallbangers were born.
Here's a drive to deep left. Got a chance to go. Robin, go! Home run.
They had decent pitching, but the guys were swinging for the fences. Hitting home runs and just crushing people.
They are one of the hardest hitting contingents in all of Major League Baseball.
The Brewers were prolific, leading the majors in home runs, runs scored, slugging percentage, and extra base hits. But they still had to beat Baltimore on the final day of the season to win the American League East title.
It was a do-or-die game. The winners going to the playoffs and the losers going home.
And league MVP Yount came up huge.
That ball is well hit, deep left field. It's gone. Robin Yount has hit successive home runs off Jim Palmer.
For the single biggest moment in one particular game, that was probably the highlight of my career.
Milwaukee won the game and secured their place in postseason play for the second straight year.
He's got it, and the Brewers win the Eastern Division Championship, and a very, very happy Brewer club. All right,
The Brewers lost the first 2 league championship series games to the Angels. But when they returned home, their fans gave them just the spark they needed for a classic comeback.
Ball lining out and short. He throws. It's over. The Brewers have won the American League pennant. Milwaukee, you have a World Series.
Fans stormed the field. Milwaukeeans wanting to party with their pals who had just won the game.
This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And though Milwaukee lost the World Series in 7, they still somehow felt like winners.
You certainly have to congratulate the Milwaukee Brewers for a great season, a great series.
We didn't come back as losers of the World Series. When we got off the plane from St. Louis, there were a couple thousand people waiting for their American League champion Brewers.
2 days after, we were told that they were going to have a parade.
We rolled out of the First Wisconsin garage. In downtown, you couldn't get downtown. The police had cordoned it off. There were so many people.
It was, honestly, I don't know if it would have been any better had we won.
Those Wallbangers will never be forgotten. And now Milwaukee has the kind of team that just might bring that passion back.
People want it to be back again. You know, they want the enthusiasm. They want a successful team again. And I think it's happening right before our eyes.
For This Week in Baseball, I'm Buzz Brainerd. So long, everybody.